Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously another red day in the market. It was an interesting day to say the least. But in this video, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about some stocks which are really important to the market that are hanging on by a thread, and I'm going to show you. And if you're one of those people, you just go, oh, support lines and trend lines don't mean anything. You know, if I ain't convinced you by now, I'll never convince you anyway. But if this don't convince you, what's going to convince you, right? But if these go, whoo boy. So if you're a holder of them, buckle up. If you're looking to buy, like me, sometime in the future, they're on your list. You're like, yay, this can be really great, right, for the long term. But then we're going to go into this crazy bet that was made on the VIX, right? I mean, it is a crazy bet, but they put a lot of money into this bet. This is a whale out there making this bet, or an institution, somebody is. And I'm going to show you exactly why they're making the bet, but also you keep hearing about capitulation, which means, you know, this rapid sell-off, right, that happens. And we just got to have it. It's got the VIX has got to spike over 45 to bottom, all this stuff, right? Well, I'm going to show you exactly the timeline in 2001, what caused the capitulation, what causes the capitulation, more importantly, right? And then 2008. And then I'm going to show you something even crazy I stumbled across when I was doing research, you know, me and my crazy research. Something that's going to happen in 2023, right? That is actually going to stabilize the market. It's actually going to make the market pop a little bit, but then just going to have it trade in a range for like 4 to 5 months. And it's going to happen, okay? And it is nuts. I couldn't believe when I found it myself. But anyway, it will bring a stock to you guys. I always read every comment, and somebody put in the comments said, hey, check out this stock. Because even in the worst of times, what I show you with the tax stock, right? What happened? It's up, 88% this year or something like that. I think I told you guys. And this stock right here, an insurance stock, somebody brought in the comments. Look at this stock. And this is a beautiful stock chart, by the way. One of the most beautiful you ever see. Look at this. Since 2016, Progressive, the insurance company, bouncing off this trend line. And look at where it's at today. I mean, that is, I mean, look at 2022. 2022, this stock is up, I believe it's 18% right now. When you got the Q's down 30-something%, the SPY's down almost 30%, and this is up 18%. So I guess insurance is good. I don't know why. I haven't researched the company, but I can tell you one thing I did, because it trades in that range right there, put me a couple of alerts, because I have no problem getting in on something like that. If it wants to stay green or going up or whatever, it works just fine to me, but it's been trading in a range if you examine the chart all year long. And so don't know what, but, you know, hey, for those who own Progressive, congratulations to you. I never would have guessed that one either. But, you know, I never would have guessed H&R Block either. But I tell you, there's always these stocks in the worst of times. They'll fool you, fly right on the radar. So thank you very much for putting that on the radar. And so getting into some stocks here, you know, Apple's the big one, right? And look at Apple. This stock is just at 140, man. It is hanging on for dear life, saying, come on, hang on, hang on. 7.5% weight on the S&P, because if it don't, it's going down to the 130s, and then that'll take us down right there. You can see on that September 20 high, which you saw a lot of stocks have that peak right there. And then below that, we're talking about numbers like 110, 115, 100, and, you know, not good, right? Not good at all for the market, because below that, you go way down. And so that has to hold just because of the weight itself. Then you got Tesla. Tesla again, holding on for dear life. I talked about this Thursday or Friday, this trend line right here. Look at that. Just hugging it. Bounce, 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 bounce. Just doesn't want to let go, because if it lets go, all of a sudden now, you're talking about 200, 180, you know, big drops for big stocks. And that will definitely give us a nice capitulation moment if something causes that to happen, which I'll get into in just a minute. And then you go over the one on top, AMD. Oh boy. AMD breaks through this support level right here today. You see it trying to recapture it. It was unable to do so. But why this one's so important, because psychologically and everything else, it is its 2020 high, the COVID high right there. Boom. And it's busting through. So now you're looking at 52 for it to hold, maybe 45, because if you start going down below that, guys, you're talking about low 30s. Before 2020, low 30s. I mean, there ain't much you're going to be able to get from that right there. And so then you look at NVIDIA, another big one. He's lost just so much market cap. It's insane. Breaks through that support line we talked about. I told you every support line is like 12%, and it's on basically thin ice, because look at this. This stock went up from the COVID lows 176% in 164 days. This is the one we just broke. And the problem is, when you look at it, you know, when we zoom in here a little bit, The next support line, you can say, okay, yeah, that's definitely support. I mean, it consolidated for a whopping 2 weeks right there. You know, maybe you can call it support right above it. Maybe 4 days of consolidation, I guess. We'll call it that and get desperate. Now, the next level below that as well, that's decent consolidation. But then you start going below that, the support, look at that. I mean, really, that's the 2020 low, which AMD just broke. Behind that, guys, nothing. Zero support, okay? Because 2018-19 was the inventory issue, so it dropped like a rock, and there's just nothing above that. And, you know, this is what we were talking about last week. Somebody bought 48,000 calls, and they put $911,000 on this. And they're expecting this VIX to go to 150 by late March 2023. And please hit that like, subscribe button, and share the video if you get anything out of this, guys. I really appreciate it. And so obviously that is a big bet. This VIX go to 150. Can it happen? Who knows if it's going to happen? But, you know, 911K, obviously they're a whale institution, whoever bought that. But now I'm going to take you through exactly what causes these instances for the VIX to do this, right? It's not just selling and people go, I'm tired, let me sell my shares because I'm depressed. This is just everything is going to hell in a handbasket caused by some shock to the markets, right? Kind of what you saw happen in England when their freaking pension funds were about to go under and they had to step in, and now they've extended what they're buying because it's pretty bad, right? And so going back to 2001, this is the first cause, right? You got capitulation. It was the 9/11 attacks, right? And so that will definitely rock the markets in a heartbeat, right? I mean, terrible day. And yes, the markets went down. The next one, WorldCom bankruptcy, the second largest bankruptcy in the world. And this wasn't the official bankruptcy. This was the rumors. Does that sound familiar, right? Who did we just hear about? A financial institution maybe going under. And then it filed for bankruptcy right there close to that bottom of that capitulation. It was like December, it was like, right there. The second candle above is where it actually officially said, we are bankrupt. But that was just rumors floating around. And it was such a large company. Most people won't even remember the company. But it was the second largest bankruptcy in history of the world, for God's sakes, all right? Then in 2008, what happened? Lehman Brothers, right? We traded sideways in that range right there for months. Then you get the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy, the old famous Jim Cramer video saying, nope, Lehman's strong, don't take your money out. They filed for bankruptcy, completely shocked the markets. Markets tank. I remember that day. I'll never forget watching the news right there. Tell me in the comments that you remember that and where you were at when you heard that. And boom, look what happened. This is exactly on the same day that happened. Look what happened to the VIX. Spiked right there. It went up to, I believe it was 100 almost. 216% move in 38 days. So some people made out a killing if they had call options on that one, man. I'm telling you. And the other big reason, you know, it's probably a safe bet, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't make that big a bet, but it's simple. What we talked about. Picture worth 1,000 words. Me and people in the comments been talking about this. I've said it so many videos. I actually put this up there before. This is right here, the Fed balance sheet and the S&P 500. It's very simple. What do you notice? Since 2004, as the Fed balance sheet goes up, the S&P follows right with it, right? Now you see, what do you see the balance sheet doing? It's curving over, flattening out, and now heading down. And what do you see the S&P doing? It is heading down. And so now that leads us into something that's going to happen either next year or early 2024, probably next year, because this group is so far behind and useless as far as I'm concerned. I can't believe we pay tax dollars to these people, and I'll guarantee they make good money. Guarantee it. Best benefits in the world. Government job, right? But I'll bet you they make good money. And this will actually be what stabilizes the market for months, and even you'll get a pop as soon as you see it. And it is the National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER. They're the ones that officially declare a recession. In 2007, December 1st, in December 1st, 2008, they declared that a recession, yes, had occurred officially, but it began a year earlier. When they put this announcement out, it went red that day, and then look what happens. 18% move in 35 days. But look, more important, the market basically just trades in a range for like 5 months right there. Then we sell down, right? And that's the bottom. Right there's the bottom. So we were very close to the bottom on that one. Then look what they did in 2001. Same group, NBER, the ones that do it, declared a recession that started in March 2001. Guys, that is November 2001. They're saying this, right? So all those months later, they go, yeah, we were officially, that's when the recession started. But then look what happens. You end up getting a small pop off the bottom right there. And then more importantly, what happens is you get this range that goes on, I believe this is like, yeah, all the way to March 2002. So roughly 5 months, right? You get that range of where it stays. And then we went over and then bottomed out. Well, we just didn't know we had bottomed out. Yep, there's your bottom. So now we're coming over here. And I already told you this is WorldCom, right? WorldCom ends up going under right there and sends us down even further to only do what? We finally bottomed out, right? But that was a capitulation moment. But those are things, you know, you can look for. Is something coming around the pipeline? I don't know, right? I don't know. Is the financial institution going to go under? Couldn't tell you. In our country, supposedly we're going to find out this week from our financial institutions, right? They're all reporting Thursday, Friday, the big boys, you know, what's going to happen. Will a pension fund go under? Is that what it's going to be? Will it be some large municipality filing for bankruptcy? I'm talking about a large municipality, right? It's happened before. I think it was Orange County in California. There's been others that have had to file bankruptcy because nobody would buy their bonds and stuff. They couldn't function, right? Couldn't pay for anything, and so wasn't bringing enough taxes. And what do you not want to do in an economic downturn? Raise taxes. That's the last thing you want to do, right? And so, you know, I mean, right here, I'm in Florida. We got all kinds of stuff going on to alleviate stuff for people, right? I mean, no taxes on diapers. I mean, there's a list this long that you're not going to pay any taxes on, all kinds of stuff. So they're doing what they can to try to, you know, one, get us through the election. I know that's why they're really doing it. But two is to, you know, sit there and try to help people out who are getting crushed by inflation, but also the people who got affected by the hurricane down there in South Florida as well. And so they got the, I guess, double or triple whammy going on. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, again, Wednesday is going to be the big day. Thursday is the biggest day. That's the CPI. And we get to see if core inflation, does it stay the same? Does it come down month over month? You know, we'll have to see on that. But, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say the least, times we live in. But, you know, there's, like I said, for me, the whole goal I look at on the long term is there's going to be some great buying opportunities, guys. I mean, it literally, I would look at it and go, don't you just wish, or you go, if I was just in my mid-20s right now, coming into this, knowing what I know now, if I knew that then, you know, I would go borrow the money. Swear to God. I'm not telling anybody to go do that, but seriously, it's, yeah, I would ask somebody in the family if they had, let me borrow some money. I'll give you 10% interest, right? To be buying up some of these stocks and investments, because my God, in the long run, if you're young, if you're in your mid-20s, you got years when the market does finally recover and all that money comes in the sidelines and it starts heading north like we know it can. We've seen it multiple times. Assuming that's what happens, assuming the world's not coming to an end, all that good stuff, then we're not going to World War III or anything, then yeah, I mean, it can be good for you. Bear markets are not a bad thing unless you're 100% invested in watching your stuff ride down into the toilet. That can be rough, and if you got no money to spend to bring your average down, that can be rough. But the good thing is, lesson learned, right? That's what you got to do. You guys, okay, learn my lesson on that one. You know, I'll get away from all those YouTubers saying cash is trash and buy every dip when the bear market starts. That's what you do, okay? So anyway, hope you got something out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. I appreciate it, and I'll bring you another good video tomorrow.